Here's the brutal truth. Smart men read, weak men scroll. One group is building their mind, sharpening their thoughts, and preparing for war. The other is numbing themselves with endless distractions, feeding on junk content that gives them nothing but a dopamine hit and a wasted hour. You've got to decide which kind of man you're going to be. Because the men who rise, the one who lead, the men who dominate, those men are readers. They invest in their mind daily. Meanwhile, the average guy is stuck in a scrolling loop, wasting time and weakening his willpower and wondering why nothing in his life has changed. If you're done being average, if you're done scrolling through life, then it's time to upgrade. Join my private coaching program, where we don't just talk about growth. We build real men who think clearly, act boldly, and win consistently. Click the first link in the description down below to join. Let's break down why smart men read and weak men don't. Scrolling trains you to be addicted. Reading trains you to be disciplined. When you scroll, you're giving away your attention. Your brain gets flooded with quick hits, random content, zero depth, and no direction. It feels good in the moment, but it weakens you over time. You're conditioning yourself to chase stimulation instead of developing focus. Reading flips the script. When you pick up a book and sit with it, you're choosing depth over distraction. You're choosing intention over impulse. That's the kind of behavior that builds real discipline, because reading requires effort. It demands patience. It forces you to slow down and engage. The man who reads is training his mind to delay gratification, to stick with something long enough to extract real value. That's a man who will win in business, relationships, and leadership, because he's mastered one of the most critical traits a man can develop. On the flip side, the man who scrolls is constantly escaping. He can't sit still. He can't focus. He's conditioning himself to avoid discomfort, and that's a recipe for mediocrity. So here's your gut check. Are you training your mind to consume junk or to grow? Because your daily habits reveal your future. If you want a life that demands respect, you need to build discipline. And reading is one of the best ways to start. Scrollers stay consumers. There's a huge difference between consuming and creating. One makes you passive, dependent, and forgettable. The other makes you active, capable, and powerful. Smart men, men who read, start thinking differently. They begin connecting ideas, analyzing problems, and forming their own solution. Reading trains your brain to process deeply. It sharpens your originality, expands your creativity, and builds your ability to contribute something real to the world. When you scroll, you're on the receiving end. You're absorbing other people's thoughts, jokes, opinions, and distractions. You're not building anything. You're just reacting. That makes you dependent. That makes you replaceable. But when you read consistently, something shifts. You stop needing to be entertained. You become more articulate, more insightful. You start seeing patterns others miss. And you're more equipped to lead, write, speak, and solve. That's what separates you from the herd. Men who read books, build businesses, lead teams, write policies, raise sons with wisdom. Men who scroll, they complain, they coast, and they stay average, or even below average. So if you're serious about making an impact, about building a legacy, about becoming the kind of man who commands respect, you've got to make the shift from consumer to creator. And it starts with picking up a book. Replace the endless scroll with 30 minutes of intentional reading every single day. Watch what happens to your brain. Watch what happens to your confidence. You won't recognize yourself in 6 months' time. Reading rewires your thinking. Scrolling just distracts it. Your mind is a tool. Sharpen it and it becomes a weapon. Let it dull and it turns against you. That's exactly what's happening when you spend hours scrolling. Your brain gets rewired to stay shallow, distracted, and easily manipulated. Smart men know this, and they use reading to rewire their thinking for power. When you read especially high-level material, classics, philosophy, strategy, psychology, you're training your mind to think in layers. You start seeing beyond the surface. You gain context, depth, clarity. Suddenly, problems that used to confuse you become simple. Conversations get easier. Decisions get sharp. And most importantly, you stop being led and start leading. Reading literally changes how your brain works. It improves memory, attention, comprehension, and verbal intelligence. All critical traits for men who want to lead, build, and dominate their domain. Scrolling does the opposite. It scatters your mind. It trains you to chase novelty. It kills your ability to focus on more than just a few seconds. And worst of all, it wastes the one resource you can never get back, and that's time. If you want to become mentally sharp, clear-headed, and dangerous in every room that you walk into, reading isn't optional, it's mandatory. And if you want someone to guide you through that transformation step by step, to not only tell you what to read, but how to think and lead like a real man, join my private coaching program today. We're not playing games, we're building weapons. Click the first link in the description down below and get in. 4. Reading commands respect. Scroll addicts get ignored. Let's talk respect. You don't get it from your haircut, your followers, or your sneakers. You get it from the way that you carry yourself, and that starts in how you think. Men who read speak differently. They listen differently. They command the room without trying to dominate it. It's because reading doesn't just feed your knowledge, it changes your posture. You start walking with grounded confidence. You're no longer reacting to the world. You're interpreting it, navigating it, and shaping it. On the other hand, weak men, scroll-addicted men, are always chasing validation. They try to sound smart with half-baked ideas that they picked up online, but it's all surface level. No depth, no foundation, and people can feel that. You can't fake intelligence. You can't fake wisdom. You can either earn it or don't. Reading earns it, scrolling steals it. If you want your words to carry weight, then read. If you want your decisions to be respected, then read. If you want to be the kind of man others look to in times of uncertainty, then read. It's not complicated. Men who lead, read. Men who follow, scroll. Make the switch. Pick up the books that sharpen you, challenge you, and stretch you. You don't need to read 100 books a year. You just need to make it a habit. 30 minutes a day, every day, no compromise. Do that for 1 year, and you'll look back and realize you're not the same man anymore. And everyone around you will notice it too. Reading keeps you sharp for life. Scrolling makes you soft over time. Here's something you need to understand. Reading isn't just a young man's habit. It's a lifelong advantage. Men who stay sharp into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, they don't do it by accident. They feed their mind consistently, and they stay dangerous long after most guys start fading. That's the long-term payoff of reading. You build a brain that ages like wine, not milk. But the man who scrolls, he starts to decay early. Mental laziness creeps in, critical thinking dies off, memory fades, and by the time he realizes what happened, it's too late. Reading keeps you sharp. It forces your mind to stay active, curious, and capable. It strengthens vocabulary, clarity, and emotional control. You become the man with vision in every season, not just testosterone in your 20s. And that's the man who leaves legacy. Think about it. Do you want to be the old guy scrolling Instagram for hours with nothing to show for it? Do you want to be the man who's still reading, still leading, and still thinking? Still leading while others fade into irrelevance? Make that choice now. Build the habit today, because you're either getting sharper or you're getting dull. And there's no neutral. Don't let scrolling steal your mind. Reclaim it with books, daily, deliberately, and forever. Smart men read, weak men scroll. One path that leads to mastery, discipline, and leadership and respect is reading. The other leads to distraction, weakness, and regret. If you're ready to start thinking like a leader, speaking with weight, and building a mind that wins, then it's time to stop scrolling and start reading. And if you want to fast track that growth with a coach who'll guide you through every step of the way, join my private coaching program today. Click the first link in the description down below and make that move now. You're either building or breaking. You choose. Let the weak man scroll. You've got work to do, and I'll see you on the next one.